Here we go. Oh. 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 Hey guys, a very good morning to you. It is currently 12 degrees and raining, and it's gonna be 40 today. Oh. You can't make this up. Honestly, you can't make this up. Better. So today we've been invited by Volkswagen Group to drive their entire Cupra range around Winton Raceway, which is about 2.5 hours away from where I live, but apparently it's 3. It's also currently 6 a.m. So I'm on the early bird, as they say. We are of course driving in the long-termer Santa Fe. I haven't done a really long drive in this. It's the hybrid. I'm pretty excited to see how it goes. And yes, I am also testing the MG4 X-Power, which I'm not getting out of the car to show you. But if I'm being totally honest with you, I just can't be bothered charging it because it's got 350 kilometers of range and it's like 250 kilometers at least each way. So yeah, not gonna happen. Cool car though, but let's drive some Cupras because that's what we're here for. I'll report back in when I'm a little bit more awake and I've had my coffee. Okay, so we're about halfway there. I've stopped for a coffee. I'm gonna say, the cafe make an okay coffee. It's not great this morning, actually. Anyway, so the plan for today is that at 10 a.m. we go to Winton Raceway and we race, baby. Not really, we're just doing track sessions, but still very exciting because we're driving the Formentor VZx. That was one of the cars that Jake and I loved the most when we tested it last year. Really, really good. Also the Leon VZx, another car we've reviewed. I'll link them down below. A great front wheel drive hot hatch. But really interestingly, they're also gonna have the VZe, which is the plug-in hybrid. So heavier, but instant torque. I'm really keen to see how that drives on track. Leon VZ, which is just the VZX with less power. And then the Leon V, which again has less power, but still decent. It's like 140 kilowatts. So, you know, across the whole range, you actually get pretty good amounts of power and torque. Cupra is of course the Seat version of BMW's M, for example. So they're the performance division, which is always really cool. And their sales have been really good in Australia. So credits to Volkswagen. They've done a good job launching that car because it's not easy. So yes, very exciting. I'm gonna finish my McCafe very average coffee, which I claimed at the beginning was actually okay. And then we're gonna keep driving and we'll get to Winton. Very excited, let's go. Okay, so welcome to Winton bloody Raceway. It's already 30 degrees, it's 10 o'clock. It's so hot, it's gonna be a really hot day. So that'll make it interesting on the track. How will that affect the car's performance? For those interested, by the way, this did pretty well, getting about 7.2 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway, which for a hybrid car that's not a diesel, it's actually okay. But now we're gonna check out the Cupra range that we have here and see all the differences. So let's check that out. Okay, so here we are with the Cupra range that we're gonna be driving here at Winton Raceway today. I'm really excited, let me show you. So today we are going to be going for a tour of all of these Cupras, a quick one. I'm going to tell you all the differences between them. More importantly though, we are going to performance test all of them, right from the cheapest base model all the way up to this, the flagship Formentor VZx, at least here in Australia. Did you know that in Europe you can get this as the Formentor 5-cylinder, which uses the Audi RS3's 5-cylinder? But anyway, pipe dream, we don't get that here and probably won't. Still, we're going to test all of these out and we're also going to track them all as well. And at the end, I'm going to give you all of my times and you can tell me which you would pick out of all of these ones. So let's get into it. So this is the entry level, the V, and you get quite a lot for your money. So this thing here is $47,990 drive away. So that's pretty good pricing. And yes, you do get a slightly basic interior, but really for most people, that is all you need. You also now get an upgraded 12-inch touchscreen. That's new for 2024. And otherwise, oh, it's a good looking car. Let's continue on. So here we have the Leon VZ, which under the skin is really a Golf GTI because across the Leon range, these are based on essentially a Golf GTI. So we get Golf GTI outputs, but we'll come back to that when we take this thing on the track. And this does come slightly better equipped inside as well because we have the optional leather pack. It does get you some really, really nice leather seats. Honestly, do you need it? No. is a nice quality of life thing. Absolutely, it's pretty cool. But otherwise, the main kind of stay for this is that it gets more power and therefore it gets nicer exhaust at the back. This Leon VZ will cost you about $56,490 drive away, which for a Golf GTI really under the skin is pretty damn good. Let's continue on to this one, which is a little bit different because it's a plug-in hybrid. That means if you push this little cap here, got a little port there, this thing has about 50, there you go, about 50 kilometers of real world range. And it's actually pretty impressive because it will achieve that with quite a lot of ease. Open this up, check out the inside. Looks very similar to the VZ. Depending on where you live in Australia and what rebates are available to you, this costs about 63 to 67,000 Australian dollars, including on-roads, which for a plug-in hybrid, an EV, is actually pretty good. And that brings us on to the Mac Daddy of all Leon VZs, because this is the VZx, and I love this thing because under the skin, it is not just a Golf GTI, it's a Golf GTI Club Sport. And we'll come back to how much power and torque this thing has when we take it on track, but let me tell you, it's quite a lot. Because this is the performance variant, you get this copper accents to your wheels. It looks really, really cool. Even though this sits higher in the range than this here, it's actually cheaper because of course, if you want an EV over here, well, unfortunately, all that stuff costs a bit of extra cash. Still, this will set you back $63,990, including on-roads, which for a really powerful hot hatch, as you'll see, it's impressive. I also love this. Coming inside, you're gonna see the blue interior. Volkswagen say that they really had to toy up, whether people would actually want this, because most Australians anyway, they want a black interior, but this has been super popular and you can see why. It's a really good looking color. Obviously the exterior is also in this matte blue, which is awesome too. And I love this as well, the quad exhaust, which do sound absolutely amazing. Again, you'll hear that when we're on the track. And then we've got a bit of a wild card here because this is the Formentor VZx. And if you know anything about the Formentor, well, if you don't, you can check out the review down below. But this thing is essentially a bit of a unicorn in the Volkswagen Group product lineup because it's still based on the same MQB platform as these ones, except this one is really developed bespoke for Cupra, which if you didn't know, Cupra is the performance variant of the Seat brand. And so just like the VZx Leon, this thing has a Golf R engine in it. And really the big upgrade from the Leon VZx to the Formentor VZx is that you get a Golf R drivetrain inside of it. That means all-wheel drive and not just front-wheel drive like all Leons on sale. And again, you'll see how that translates to performance, but it does have some hits, but also quite a lot of benefits. It also looks really, really cool. As far as SUVs goes, this does not look like an SUV. It looks like just a larger hatch, and I love it for it. You also get a really nice interior. The thing I like most is that it's just all really logically laid out. Of course, it's all blue as well, and it's just a really, really nice place to be. This Formentor will set you back about $68,990, which is pretty damn good pricing. However, new for MY24 is this. Can you see that? A Krapovich exhaust. This is a titanium exhaust. It's not cheap. It's about $6,000 as an additional extra. However, it has passed all the ADRs, all design regulations. It also does sound pretty damn good. And if you wanted a full titanium system anyway, you're probably going to be spending that much money. Still, probably don't need it. It's just a nice thing to have. As you guys can tell, it's hitting that 40-degree mark. It is so hot. But I think it's time to performance test these and see just how well they accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. Let's do it. Alrighty guys, so now we're going to launch all of these, see just how quick they all are. We're going to start with the entry level, which is the Leon V. We'll come back to how much power and torque they put out when we take them around the track. But for now, let's put the traction into sport, change the drive profile into, doesn't have Cupra mode. That's okay. This one might be the only one without launch control, but let's try it anyway. So foot on the brake, foot on the accelerator. Let's go. Oh, for a base model, this has quite a lot of power. All right, 0 to 100 in 8.37 seconds. That's okay, that's respectable. Let's see if you spend more, do you get more performance? Yes. Okay, so car number 2, the Leon VZ. Let's do this. Mum, Dad had me. Oh, that feels all right. 0 to 100 in 6.49 seconds. That's pretty good. Okay, so update. This is just snapped off. Awesome. Oh, this is gonna fly everywhere. But let's do it. Let's just try launching this thing and hope to God it doesn't hit my face. Although you guys would love that, wouldn't you? You would just love it if I hit my face. Okay, this is gonna be real jank, but so it doesn't mess up, I'm gonna hold it there and hope for the best. So here we go. Don't do this at home. We are on a closed racetrack, and I mean that. Here we go. Ooh. Okay. Hey, 0 to 100 in 6.87 seconds. I'll take that. You know, guys, I just had a real daddy come through and fix the specialist timing gear. So big claps on the screen. Thank you very much. Look, it's fixed to an extent. It's jerry-rigged as all hell. All right, we're in the Cupra Leon VZx. This is gonna be interesting. It's got a lot of power, a lot of torque. We'll come back to that, of course. But for now, let's just launch it. So foot on the brake, foot in the accel. Fix the GoPro a little bit. Here we go. Oh. 0 to 100 in 5.74 seconds. Wow, that is probably the biggest improvement so far. Alrighty, mummies and daddies, let's launch the final one, the Formentor VZx. Should be the fastest because it has all-wheel drive. Let's find out. Foot on the brake, foot on the accelerator. Here we go. Jeez. Oh. Whew. That's pretty quick. 0 to 100 in 5 seconds flat. I'll take that. Okay, so I put up on the screen now how much each of these cost versus their 0 to 100 times. Tell me in the comment section below, which one do you think is the best value based on acceleration? All right, let's drive the base model V on track. Okay, so driving the entry level V on track, how does it go? Well, surprisingly okay. It's definitely not the fastest car I've ever driven around a track, but it does have adaptive dampers, 15 stage, and actually you can throw this thing around because it is the lightest Leon, and it handles pretty damn well, surprisingly so. It's also got quite a lot of grunt, quite a lot of torque, I've noticed specifically, and the brakes even, they're okay too. The dual clutch, the 7-speed, it reacts fine. And you get a bit of play in the rear, which I really love in a hatch. You just have a bit more fun. So yes, overall, you know, you spend less. Obviously you get less performance, but it's not boring. You know what I mean? Like, this is still a fun car. It's still like a GTI from a decade ago in terms of its power and torque. So yeah, really can't complain. I'm having a lot of fun. Speaking of GTI, what does the current GTI competitor have? Let's talk about that. Okay, so driving the Leon VZ, which under the skin is essentially a Golf GTI. So we have 180 kilowatt of power, 380 Newton meters of torque. It's really hot. Believe it or not, aircon cuts out when you floor a car because it wants to save as much engine power as possible. So what you immediately notice is, yeah, this thing is way sharper than just the standard Leon V. Like, it's on another level of sharpness. It's also just like so much more responsive. Like the EA888 tune is just that much better. We are really taking it hard around here, but it's doing a fantastic job, really phenomenal. Put our foot down, oh, GoPro's falling, fix that. You can see we build up quite a lot of speed in a pretty short amount of time, and this is the real one here. So taking a corner, minimal body roll, adaptive dampers are doing a great job. Come on. Honestly, it's really quick. It's really, really quick. Really, really good. I'm impressed. Okay, let's drive the plug-in hybrid. Alrighty, so now we're driving the Leon VZe around the track. So what does this have over the VZ? Well, you got extra fake noise because now we have an electric motor, baby. It's actually pretty good. So we have 180 kilowatt of power, which is the same, right? But 400 Newton meters of torque. And let me tell you, this thing feels so wildly different to the VZ. There's no doubt about that. It just has a lot more instant torque power that you really do feel, but you've also got extra weight. So the back end is a lot more happy to come out. It definitely does not handle as well as the standard VZ, and that's frankly just because of the battery. It adds a lot of weight. This car is the heaviest Leon, and even though it's, you know, got quite a lot of power and torque, there's something about it, it's just not quite as good on a track. It's just how it is, okay? I don't make the rules. Don't get me wrong, it's still very competent, and it definitely feels like a hot hatch, but it doesn't go around a corner as well as a car that doesn't have an electric battery, go figure. But now let's just drive the Leon that ruins all other Leons for me, the VZx. All right, mummies and daddies, driving the Leon VZx. Oh, What in the world? Oh! Oh! Okay, I'm lost for words. So yeah, this thing is essentially a Golf GTI club sport that we don't get in Australia, but we do in this. We have a Golf R tune to the EA888 engine up front. Oh my gosh. Oh, we have a mechanical locking limited slip differential. Yeah, this thing puts out a lot of power, a lot of torque for a 4-cylinder turbo petrol. We are talking 221 kilowatt of power, 420 newton meters of torque, and it's fast. For a front-wheel drive car, this is fast. By the way, I did mention all of these cars have a 7-speed wet dual clutch transmission, and it's very impressive. In fact, I want to see what we can get in our top speed, at least on this track. You can see the speed just rising so quickly. The Krapovich exhaust sounds so good. The induction noise sounds so good. Okay, coming off there, getting a bit sketch. Oh, you can get this with a Brembo brake package, and you don't need it, but I'll be honest with you, it would help. All right. This one's really shocked me, as you could tell. Let's see how the Cupra Formentor VZx, this thing's really twin under the skin except for the all-wheel drive system, how that goes. Okay, so driving the Formentor VZx, baby. This thing, guess what, has the same EA888 engine. However, in this tune, it has 228 kilowatt of power, 400 newton meters of torque, and it has the Haldex all-wheel drive system, which is very different to the front-wheel drive of the Leon VZx. And something I noticed almost immediately is that you kind of either oversteer or understeer when you're driving this thing around. Mostly understeer, which turns into oversteer when it sends the power into the rear like that. It's really quick in a fast line. Really, really quick. Like, that's fast, man. And when you're just driving it around town, yeah, this thing is absolute weapon. However, on the track, I don't think that's where this thing is most settled. It's still very good, don't get me wrong. But when you just come out of the Leon VZx, if you want a track-focused car, that would be my choice. Still, it's obviously really fast, and frankly, the fastest of the bunch in a straight line. I think once you start moving, the Leon VZx, just because it's lighter, is a bit faster. Whew. After all of that, I think it's time to get into our final thoughts. Okay, so what a day driving all of these Cupras around the track. I essentially had the track to myself, so I've done so many laps. I ate a cheeseburger. I regret that decision now because I'm not feeling that great, but I will end this video on a positive because frankly, I think that Cupra are one of those brands where you do get just a lot of value for your money. Nothing in this world is cheap anymore, but there are some things that are good value. And I think, frankly, that this is the pick of the bunch. You just get so much equipment. It's one of the best driving front wheel drive hot hatches I have ever reviewed. And we do have a full review on our channel. I'll link that down below. Same with the Formentor VZx. And this thing proved to me that you spend a little bit more money than this here, which is essentially a Golf GTI, and you just get something that's wicked. This thing is so cool. I love it a lot. But I am also going to put up the times I got in all of these cars. And you can let me know, based on the times alone, which one would you pick versus their price. Let me know in the comment section just below that like button, and subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. I'd love to have you around. Now for the 3-hour journey home. Ciao for now.